Mike, you've talked about patient outcomes improving. We've talked a little bit about the economics, but one thing that I'm starting to perceive with a little bit more nuance and clarity now is also I'm imagining that this has a huge impact on like job satisfaction, team cohesion for the care team. Because one of the things that we experience all the time as external consultants is it's just a lack of information being shared internally, and it's kind of a siloed effect within the organization. And if we can break down those silos, we can put everybody's expertise to use and solve the complex problems together. You're already doing that as a care team, solving complex problems, but it sounds like you're solving this really huge internal thing that might be challenging to either label or address through a traditional external intervention, for lack of a better term. Could you talk about some of the wins that you've seen with the care teams themselves and like what's happening for employee engagement, job satisfaction, things like that?
Yeah, almost every healthcare care worker's origin story involves watching a television show about healthcare. There's the Grey's Anatomy generation. I was the ER generation. And if they showed what it actually meant to do that work, none of us would have got into healthcare. If there was an episode where George Clooney sat on the phone with an insurance company doing prior authorization or trying to find the nurse, that would have not been very appealing for most of us. And so I think there's this reality when you get in and go, oh my goodness, it is a administrative job. Like so much of my work is tracking people down and finding people. And so when we take the cognitive load away from that, and all of a sudden you are just walking from room to room, and the nurses are there, and the interpreters there, and the families there, and you get to do and make eye contact and do what you wanted to do in the first place, that is very meaningful. And I collect the text messages of colleagues who were skeptical. Doctors like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. I've done it this way forever. And then they go, you know what? I saw 7 additional family members yesterday that I'd not met. Rounds finish faster. This is what I went into medicine to do. And so I absolutely believe the burnout vaccine of eye contact and what we wanted to do as opposed to staring at a screen or sitting on a phone on hold is a huge part of this. And it really makes for those meaningful connections where the nurse, it is a standard of care for the nurse to join the doctor at the bedside for rounds. It happens about 5% of the time. We are consistently seeing 80 to 90% once we go live. So we're again, all of a sudden you're making connections and you're meeting colleagues that you've worked with for 15 years where it matters at the bedside.